Put the bunny back in the box.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
My God, just be normal!
I'm gonna do what you all think I'm gonna do, which is just flip out.
Get away from her, you.
Let me give you a British answer. It was my cup of tea.
No more foreplay.
Yeah.
Yes, darling, I'm absolutely marvellous with how I sound. Have you ever seen the clip of Ozzy Osbourne when he's talking about Sharon? No, he tells the story where he's saying that they were in Beverly Hills recording. Is it Volume 4? I don't know their music.
Yes, yeah, it is Volume 4.
And they had a bowl of Coke and a bowl of dope, and he thought it was a bit hot, so he thought the button he pressed was the air conditioning. It wasn't. It was like the emergency alarm.
Yeah.
And 20 minutes later, 6 police cars turned up and he went, "Fuck, it's a raid." So he went into the toilet to try and flush it all down.
Yeah.
I didn't realise you're recording, but anyway, fuck it.
No, I am recording. I'm just checking the levels as well. Keep talking.
And yeah, he went to go and put it down the toilet, but then he saw that there was a roadie with them, and he went, "Get your spoon out," and they were just like snorting all this cocaine,
Just shoveling it.
shovel it in. Then he said they're absolutely gacked out their eyeballs, and then they come out and they go, "Don't worry, they've all gone." He said he didn't sleep for 5 days. Just like, what on earth? Just at what point would you go, "This stuff's too good, I'm going to risk my life"?
Yeah.
Like, what? That's when you know you've got a problem.
Yeah. When Fleetwood Mac were recording Rumours as
Yeah.
well, they had just a bag of Coke under the mixing desk. And
Oh
I
my
think
God.
I think the stat is like that they spent £1 million just on Coke when recording the album. And at one point, the engineers and the producer at the desk pretended they got like a massive bag of flour. They picked it up and they were like, "Guys, do you want a bump?" And like Fleetwood Mac were on the other side of the glass like, "Yeah!" And then they dropped this bag of flour and pretended they dropped the Coke and were like, "Oh no!" And they were saying like that Fleetwood Mac looked like they were all going to fucking kill them. Like this band that was falling apart, that each one hated each other and they all slept around. Like it looked like they were all going to
God.
unite and kill them over the fake Coke that had been dropped.
It's just mental. And you think, what, like, I don't know. How do you even function?
Yeah, like how do you like
Like,
go to the bathroom and do like your daily things? Like how do you brush your teeth
what, you
when you're so gacked out? I guess you don't.
do a bump and brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Makes it feel different.
Yeah,
I
I
guess.
guess so. Yeah.
But the famous one is Blues Brothers, isn't it? That they allegedly were all.
Oh,
like,
maybe.
It
Yeah.
was just. But Bill Murray recently did an interview. I'm not going to name the podcast, but he recently went on.
Yeah.
Arguably, one of the bigger podcasts in the world currently, and I saw a clip that he was saying that Jim Belushi never actually did that many drugs and stuff like that, and he was, and I'm like,
It's like when Paul McCartney now has sometimes been like, "No, we never did drugs. Like I never touched them." But then like there's footage of him coming out from being arrested for like weed possession and smoking, and he's like, "I'll do it again, and I'll smoke again." And he's
There's
like,
nothing wrong with me if I buy it and smoke it in my own private possession.
Yeah, in my hotel room.
In my hotel room, not affecting anyone else. And I'll do it again. I paid my fine.
Yeah,
And if anyone's got a problem with it, they can fuck off.
yeah,
Like,
it is, and also legalize it.
Yeah.
like
but it was, that was like back in the era when I can imagine like your grandparents and stuff
Yeah.
like, my goodness, I'm never buying a Beatles album
I
again.
listened to. Oh, I know what I was listening to. I've been listening to Eric Roberts' autobiography.
What, Julia Roberts' brother?
Yeah, Eric Roberts'
Because we saw him
autobiography.
recently. We saw him in Blackbird, didn't we?
We saw him in Blackbird.
We have to review that.
No, we don't. We should review a good
That
Eric
was
Roberts
almost
film.
around the time when we started talking about doing the podcast. We
Yeah, it
watched
was. Yeah.
Blackbird is a mental film.
Just
He just looks
upsettingly bad.
drunk throughout the whole film.
He does, but I don't know if that's just him now on an eternal come down or not, because I've been listening to the autobiography and it's actually really good.
Yeah.
Like it's a bit upsetting at times about some of his relationships with his parents. But he talks about him filming something and he was and he was like, everybody was on coke. Everyone in Hollywood and everyone filming, be it you cast or crew, there was coke everywhere. You could just go off in between scenes, in between shots and takes, and you'd get a line off the grip or something like that.
I was definitely a very different grip back in the day. Then.
I was going to
you
say,
might get a cup of coffee off me from the cafetiere, but
yeah, I was going to say it's definitely very different. Like, there's definitely some people who are still, powder monkeys.
Yeah.
But it's hidden.
Yeah, when you're on a quaint little British set of a TV show,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more cup of tea and bacon sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's mental when you see a lot of stuff like that. But what was the I read a report. It's not a report. It's a news article.
The report.
The report, please.
Give me the report.
Do it now, Sarah Connor.
It's a news article.
And it was about how like athletes will often do something like the marching powder, shall we say, as opposed to.
I do mark these as explicit.
Yeah.
Most of the time, so we can say coke.
Okay, coke.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that as opposed to alcohol puts weight on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So say you're an alcoholic,
Yeah.
you're drinking beers all day long, and you're an actor or you're an athlete or something,
Yeah.
you'll start to gain weight. Whereas you want to keep the weight off.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
Yeah, the
magical.
Bolivian marching powder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you never see any fat like rock and rollers. And if
No.
you do, unless they're like the Cure.
They're
and
absolute string beans.
yeah.
My dad and I, we went to the Beatles experience up in Liverpool, which is actually really great. Liverpool's a genuinely good tourist city, which I
haven't been. I do want to go.
yeah, I didn't think it would be because in my mind it still looked.
Paul McCartney's still outside. I'll
It
do
ge-
what I want to do. I'll do it when I want it, how I want it, in my own home.
I genuinely thought it was just going to look exactly the same as it sort of did like in the 60s, like still shipyardy. Just in my brain, that was all it had ever been sold to
every
me
other
as.
house you walk past is just a
Yeah.
band in there.
Which is terrible, really. It just shows like how awful the north-south divide is in this country.
I still
Like,
remember the
yeah.
first time I drove up north, and it's like when you get past Birmingham or near around that area.
Oh, the
there's-
motorway just becomes grey for ages. Yeah,
Yeah, but also it just says the North.
It does,
And I
yeah.
half expected to like drive into Blade Runner and be like, oh,
Yeah.
right, here we go.
it does.
It's not, I'm sorry.
But that stretch of like, I think is it the M60 or M62?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, that's
It's not
bleak.
nice.
Yeah, the Birmingham up to like Carlisle stretch of that is pretty awful.
I think it's more the Midlands now is the part that is kind of.
Yeah.
I think the North is kind of rejuvenated.
Yeah.
It's more the middle area. Like I went to Coventry a few years
Mm.
ago. It wasn't nice.
Yeah, I was in Birmingham recently for work, and I was apparently in the nice area of Birmingham for the event, and I was like, is it that nice?
When we went to go and see Last Podcast on the Left, it was all right.
Yeah, some of the area is nice.
Yeah.
The train station was actually really good. They've got a weird big mechanical bull in there.
Why?
Don't know. Art.
Oh.
Art, mate.
I
But we're
fucking
not.
hate it when you see that. It's like
Do
you've got
not?
like
I like it. I like that they put art in like places that like people may not normally see it.
it's a bit like the whole kind of to go on to like link it back to cinema in some way. Like I don't want to see the Brutalist because Brutalist architecture is bollocks.
Yeah, it's not so much like brutalist architecture. It wasn't like brutalist architecture. It's like a giant scrapyard sculpture. It's like it's made from different parts of rail machinery and things, and it's a big bull. I think that's quite cool.
Yeah, a bit like the Angel of the North, I guess. That's quite cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, and it was in the concourse where people walk around. You don't just like look at it from afar. You can go up underneath it.
Whereas down here, all we've got is fucking Stonehenge and the white horses.
Yeah.
Do we know why they did them? Ain't got a clue, my love. It just be there since it's been there.
Something to do with the sun or something.
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't really give a shit.
There's also the giant with a boner.
What?
There's also the big one that has
Oh,
a boner.
yeah,
Yeah.
He actually does have a boner, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
All of this is staying in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah.
Would you want me to keep this up top, or I put this at the end as like a little sting?
I don't know. I think you make the call. You make the
God,
call.
Oh, don't make me make the call.
So I'm really just going to quickly.
Shall we do? We need to do an intro though.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Please, we can kill it.
Do what you all think I'm gonna do, which is just flip out. Any from you? What do you Brits? What's my cup of tea?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Celluloid Cellar podcast.
Is this like one of
with
those
Cameron
films?
and Jack,
You're Cameron.
and he's Jack.
Lee.
And today we are talking about the film. Yes,
Mickey 17.
yes. I was pointing at you to do it. And you
I just had the sudden panic. Are we talking about the other one? But no.
No, we're talking about Mickey,
Mickey
17,
17.
also known as Michael's 17. All now, Jack, you're going to have to help me out with this film because I've not actually seen Mickey's 1 through 16. He's got up. He's left. He's taken his headphones off. He's gone. But before we get into that review, we will do the review. We'll do like plot. We'll then go into general thoughts, and then we'll go into spoilers on it later on. But before we go into that, let's talk about the Oscars, shall we?
Yeah, let's briefly touch on the popularity contest in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Is one of them where like, I was really glad that Flo won, but I'm also going to say it doesn't really matter what wins anymore. I don't think it's got much cachet anymore.
No, it was one of the ones that I've been more interested in a while, but also weirdly because I don't think it's been the best film year as well. Like,
No, I'd agree. I think the problem you're getting more and more is the Oscars. Like, when was the last time that a big... I say that last year, Oppenheimer won.
Yeah.
Everyone saw it.
Oh yeah, it was much more. It was bigger
Yeah,
last year.
Yeah.
But maybe a worse ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think people are watching the films that are winning Oscars anymore, and that's a problem. You look at the 90s.
Definitely not this year.
Yeah, you look at the 90s. You had Silence of the Lambs, then Unforgiven, which was a big hit.
Yep.
Then you had 93 Schindler's List. Then you go to Forrest Gump, then Braveheart. Then you've got...
and even in the Forrest Gump year, Pulp Fiction was nominated.
Yeah,
for
Pulp
Best
Fiction was
Picture as well.
massive.
And
Shawshank Redemption, which was a big hit on video.
yeah, Shawshank became big through TV.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got like The English Patient, which was big at its time.
Yeah.
You had then Titanic. Then you had which you have to say no more. Then you've got Shakespeare in Love, which although wasn't as good as Saving Private Ryan, was still a big film. Then you've got American Beauty, which was a big film. Then you've got Gladiator. Yeah. Then you've got A Beautiful Mind. Then you've got 2002 was it not Chicago?
Oh yeah, no. 2002 Chicago came out, so it would have been like 2003 Oscars.
What one in 2002?
I don't know.
But
mate.
either way, it was big films.
And then Return of the King.
Yeah, Return of the King. I think Chicago did win Best Picture.
Probably did.
Because I think Roman Polanski won Best Director and Chicago won Best Picture.
What, for The Pianist?
Yeah.
No, that was... yeah. I don't know. I don't really know, man. Yeah, I feel like it doesn't happen so much. I think some people will probably think that we're going to be a bit...
Chicago.
It was? Oh.
Then Return of the King, then $1 Million Baby.
Oh, $1 Million Baby, of course.
Yeah. But I think that is a problem. Like, you go out and you ask, I don't know anyone that's seen Anora, which I was very shocked won Best Picture. But I mean, it's great for the director. He's been working at his craft for years, making smaller films that not as many people have seen.
Yep.
And, he's been noticed by Hollywood. It's just a shame that 35 years ago, you would have had a director like Jonathan Demme, maybe, who made something like Silence of the Lambs, which was a smaller film. And, you go on then to have a big career and you get given more money. Whereas now I feel like...
Even with Sean Baker.
Yeah.
I'm arguably a cinephile.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one of maybe my classic catchphrases on the podcast. I've not seen a Sean Baker film.
No.
I have not seen Tangerine. I've wanted to watch Red Rocket for like maybe a year since it came out, since I knew it existed. Because of all of his his most famous films, that's the one that like appealed to me the most because I thought it just seemed really grotty and seedy, but in a fun way. And I love characters I love a protagonist that you shouldn't quite root for, but they have some sort of charm to them.
Yeah.
That they can still win you over. So I thought that seemed like right up my alley. But I've not seen a film, but I'm still like very grateful that he won, and I think it's a good thing like that he's being celebrated, because he's definitely a director who's done a lot of experimentation. Because like Tangerine's the iPhone film, then Florida Project's 35 mil, Red Rocket's 16 mil. Like he's,
I think Florida Project. I still can't say. The Florida Project is one that I'd definitely like to see, because I know that William Dafoe's meant to be amazing in it, and all those kind of things. I just think he makes slightly different films, which is good at the moment.
And he uses unconventional actors or non-traditional actors as well.
Because I know like Tangerine, he got basically non-actors for that. And it's a brilliant film. I really like Tangerine. I saw it quite a while ago now. I haven't seen it for years, but it's definitely very... it's one of those films that, when you go into a studio film, you feel that safety of, I recognise this. I recognise the logo at the start. It's got this, and I think it'll come on to Mickey 17 in terms
We've talked about it before with how you don't feel safe watching Terrifier. Because it feels grotty and seedy. I think it doesn't always have that security around it of know there's not a big studio behind this saying you must do this, this and this. They've got a bit more freedom, and that I think puts you on edge a little bit. Maybe similar to like the Safdie brothers with Uncut Gems or something along those lines, where
another
it's
link to Mickey 17, because it's got
indeed
it's got Robert Pattinson in. No, I think overall the Oscars, I mean, the fact we've hardly spoken about it shows kind of, I was very happy that Flo won. I can't remember how many we got right, how many we got wrong.
I think we were about half and half.
Yeah, we're roughly half and half. I think the director cinematographer did win for June, didn't he?
No, it was Brutalist.
Oh, sorry, it was Brutalist. Sorry, my apologies.
Which I said might be an outlier because of the 35 mil. I
was shocked that Harmony Korine didn't win. Not Harmony Korine. What am I on about? Harmony Korine is the director of like Spring Breakers. Brandy Corbett. What am I on about?
Mr. Brutalist.
Mr. Brutalist didn't win any Oscars. I was very shocked about that. I think Adrian Brody winning another Oscar again is a little bit boring. Like, well, he's basically, it looks very similar to The Pianist in terms of his role. I think he does sad very well. Like,
he's got good crying eyes.
Yeah, he's got like good like broken man eyes.
Yeah,
but I think his speech of being like, I've hit rock bottom and come back again. I was listening to another podcast and they were saying, and I agreed with what they're saying. Like, you've hit rock bottom, but if you hit rock bottom still with your au pair and your nice cars that are fully paid for and all these kind of things.
And your other Oscar still being held above the water.
I don't think it's quite as, real world kind of issues. Are you worried about how you're feeding your kids?
When you compare him to, say, an actor I can't even remember the name of, but who appeared in Good Time, the guy who won the Oscar for Captain Phillips.
He didn't win the Oscar.
I thought he did win the Oscar.
No, he was nominated. He didn't win it. 2013. No, I can't remember who won it that year. He didn't win it though. No.
Well, we should find out what his name is.
Yeah, because he's also in
Good Time.
Yeah, and also Blade Runner 2049.
He was in a... Is he?
Yeah, he's just got a small part in that, I think.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, is he in the counter of the replicant animals?
Yes.
You can give it a goose. I do think that the Oscars have still like a slight bit of impact, because my parents have gone to see Anora this evening because it did win best picture. So I think with like older generations of people who enjoy films and cinema, they will watch the Oscars, and it does make people watch things. Because I know I watched what's the one where Frances McDormand gets a bush out?
Oh, Normland.
Yeah, Nomadland.
Nomadland.
Yeah.
Was that any good?
It's fine.
Yeah, but that's the problem with the Oscars now. They're just fine.
It
it
was.
was Christoph
it was
Waltz
fine.
who beat the actor in
Oh, did he? For, yeah,
2013. His name
for playing the
was-
exact same role.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
no, I'd say he's slightly different.
It is different.
His
He's
name-
just very Christoph Waltz, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh no, that wasn't that year. It was the next year.
Yeah, Django was 2012 and Captain Phillips was
Yeah.
2013.
Sorry.
Find
it's-
his name.
I'm gonna absolutely butcher trying to pronounce it.
That's all right. Do you want me to look as well?
I'll get it. Don't you?
Okay.
But yeah, overall,
Do you want to speak into the mic as well?
sorry. Overall, I was a little bit disappointed Jared Leto beat him.
Jared. Oh my God, no.
Barkhad Abdi.
Okay.
Barkhad Abdi.
Barkhad Abdi.
I think. I hope
Okay.
I'm pronouncing it correctly.
We hope so. We don't mean any offence if we're pronouncing it
I do
incorrectly.
apologise. It was the same year Lupita Nyong'o won for 12 Years
I
a
wish
Slave.
he had the career that Jared Leto. No, Jared Leto's not had a great career afterwards.
No.
But I wish Barkhad Abdi had the opportunities that Jared
Yeah.
Leto has been given over and over since, despite being
It's almost like
seemingly
he's forgiven for being bad and stuff, and then they go, "Do you know what? He won an Oscar. I think he can act."
And it's also, he's not meant to be, I don't know all the specifics, but he's meant to not be a personally very nice person.
No, he's not
in
gonna
the
be nice
industry.
at all.
Well, and he did all of his weird, horrible stuff on like Blade Runner 2049, where he genuinely pretended to be blind. Have you heard about this?
He just sounds like a dick.
He was like, oh, I can't make my mark. He would make people like guide him to his marks and stuff because he was method acting being blind. And I've also heard, now this is alleged. This is an alleged story from someone on set.
You can't get us if
You
we
can't
say
say it.
alleged.
This is alleged that on Morbius they were
Oh,
shooting a
God.
scene because him and his mate Milo or whatever, played by Matt Smith, when they were kids, they grew up in a like hospital kind of school thing for for children who have illnesses, and apparently they got quite a lot of kids in there with learning difficulties and other disabilities as the actors, and they got all the kids and they like had got them on set, and they were there for about half an hour and made sure that they were all comfortable after all the cameras were set up, and then they were like, right, we want to make sure that they're being authentic, and that's why they did that, which is quite good. And then they were like, we've got to go get Jared from his trailer because they're ready now, and we've got to shoot this in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. Went to get Jared from his trailer. They were like, Mr. Leto, we're ready for you now. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm on my way. Starts coming down the steps of the trailer.
Oh,
and
not
he's
with
on his crutches
Oh, God.
because it's before he's had his serum in the thing. And they're like, Jared, please don't do this. And he's like, no, I'm coming as quick as I can. And takes him maybe 10, 15 minutes to get to set from his trailer on his crutches. By the time he gets there, it's just like there's just pandemonium.
The amount of
because-
stories that come out about like actors, like, have you seen the Rebecca Ferguson interview where she's talking about an actor as like,
Oh yeah, because they never named the
yeah,
name.
they
did
never named, but they reckon it might be allegedly.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say?
Do you want to?
Allegedly,
Really?
yeah. Apparently on, but I don't know. Oh, it's very interesting though.
It is very interesting. Let's not dwell on any of that more.
So the
horrific stuff
Oscars
any
were a little
further.
bit boring.
They were. Do you want to say any more about them?
I want to watch Nora.
Nora, I hardly know her.
These dad jokes are literally, they're killing me. No, I think, I haven't seen Nora. I'm going to give it a watch.
Yeah.
It might be good. Maybe it deserved it. I'm sad that The Substance didn't get more love.
Yeah, it got hair and makeup.
Yeah, which I think it deserved. I'm kind of sad it didn't win. Demi didn't win, but I'm not really that bothered.
No, I'm not gutted.
If an actor like Harrison Ford has never won an Oscar, and he is one of arguably the greatest Hollywood actors ever,
Some would say the standout of Captain America: Brave New World.
some would say.
Some would say.
If he hasn't won one, if certain other actors
To even be nominated is an honor.
eh,
It is, in a way.
Yeah, but to me, it's like the problem is it's very subjective. Like you look at some of the crap that has won stuff before.
There is crap, but
Like-
then like I think if you're in a genre piece and it breaks through, like with the whole Silence of the Lambs thing, that's when you know you've really like hit the mark.
Yeah.
Not so much sci-fi seems to get more of an easier go through
Yeah,
because it can often it's often all very satirical, much like the film we'll be talking about today.
yeah,
But like the fact that Logan got some nominations and they had like quite a big campaign for Logan when that came out.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. But to me,
like-
though, if the Academy Awards really were about what the best film is and stuff like that, something like someone like Hugh Jackman would potentially have won an award for that.
Yeah.
Like because he is great in it.
Yeah,
He is arguably the best actor of that year.
it was the best film of 2017.
I mean, and then the next year you've got fucking Remy Malek winning for
Bo Rap.
which
Yeah.
is awful, and he is not good in that film.
No, he's weird.
Yeah.
He's-
I still think in that film they should have gone full, like if you're going to tell that story, go full send with it, tell it how it happened.
Yeah, it's because it's the whole Queen. It's because like Brian May and
Allegedly, Brian May.
I don't know if this is alleged. It is Brian May, and then the other one that they're still friendly with, and Queen had like producers say, and so they all had to have like equal screen time and things like that. I think Freddie got the most, but then all the other ones had to have like an equal amount of share.
One of the actors in it who was in Jurassic Park was quite good in it, I did think. He played,
Yeah.
you know, the young lad in Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
The brother and sister. He's actually in it. He plays one of the band members.
Oh okay.
Can't remember which one.
Yeah, I can't remember their names.
But that's the Oscars wrapped up. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
what it was.
I liked Conan. I watched Conan's opening monologue. That's
Yeah,
pretty
he was
great.
quite good. He
Yeah,
came
he
out
was
of
fun.
Demi Moore's body at one point. Didn't
Yeah,
he?
he was actually funny.
He is quite funny.
Another horrendous suit from Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that man is, and Adam Sandler, like they're trying to do a bit, and it wasn't that funny really. But
Yeah,
do you
that
know
bit
what?
wasn't funny.
I
yeah.
have a growing love and appreciation for Adam Sandler in many ways.
I do too. I thought that he is like the original Tim Robinson from I Think You Should Leave. Like good at yelling and stuff. You should
Yeah.
watch I Think You Should Leave. I've shown you the clip before. It's the
Yeah.
what have they done to
Yeah.
this world?
I recently saw a trailer before we start talking about Mickey 17. Have you seen the trailer for In the Lost Lands with Dave Bautista?
Yeah.
And do you know what it
Mila
looks?
Djokovic.
Because it's directed by. Is it directed?
It's by
Paul
Paul
W.S.
W.S. Anderson. Yeah.
the man who made
Resident
AVP.
Evil.
Resident Evil and Event Horizon. Now, have you seen
I've seen
Fall Guy?
I've seen AVP.
AVP's actually all right.
Yep.
This film looks like the fake film they make in Fall Guy.
Yeah, it does look
Honestly,
like a fake movie.
It looks
yeah.
horrendous. I saw it. I thought, how are they still getting money to make these kind of things? What is Dave Bautista doing?
What has Paul W.S. Anderson done to be able to get so many opportunities?
I don't know because he. So, have you seen Event Horizon?
No, that's meant to be like I've wanted to watch it for years.
It's Event Horizon is a story to get into because when we do eventually review it, it is a film that allegedly, well, no, not allegedly.
No.
There is a
we were so
everything now
afraid.
allegedly.
We're so afraid of getting
This is
told
my
off.
this is my lawyer's note. Apparently there's another much harder cut.
Yes, there
of,
is
like,
meant to be. Yeah.
Absolute carnage and horror and all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But they cut it down and they put it out how it is. And apparently the other harder cut is even better. But it's a very good film on its own and
Yeah.
still is quite dark.
Yeah, it's just meant to have more of the Cenobite-esque horrible
which
things.
I really like the film. But it seems like ever since then he just lost his marbles and he just makes utter crap.
Well, yeah, it's. I think maybe one or two of the Resident Evils meant to be okay. I think the desert one's meant to be all right.
Yeah, but
which is number 3.
Yeah, but they've got into Fast and Furious territory here, where it's
But
like
they've rebooted that franchise. They're trying to advertise this new film off of the first one, which came out in 99, maybe 2000.
what the first Resident Evil
Film, yeah.
wasn't it 2002?
Maybe. I might
But-
be thinking of when the video games came out.
Yeah.
But they're trying to advertise it off of that, which is like 20 years old. He's not done anything relevant since. I think his latest film before this was Monster Hunter, which again
Which
was like
was
panned.
yeah.
And then the previous Resident Evil film he did was also just fucking panned as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he did. So Paul W. Anderson did Resident Evil 1 and then like 5 to 6 or something. So he did Resident Evil in 2002.
Yeah.
Soldier, which is all right, which was 1998.
That's actually a sequel to Blade Runner,
well,
mate. if you
actually,
didn't
it's
know.
technically not a sequel. It's in the same cinematic universe
Oh,
because David Peoples, the writer, wrote it.
Oh.
David Webb Peoples,
But not a sequel.
No. Then he directed Death Race, Resident Evil Afterlife,
Mm.
Three Musketeers, Pompeii.
Oh,
Monster
yeah, that
Hunter.
shit film.
Like, he just made utter crap. Like, and none of his stuff is good. But I just don't understand how filmmakers like that keep getting money. It was a bit
Yeah.
like director of Independence Day.
Oh, Roland Emmerich.
Yeah, like how he keeps getting money for stuff. And you're like, what?
But people at least went to see Emmerich films like
Yeah,
for quite a
yeah.
while.
Actually, I do think his Midway film is quite good.
Did you watch 2012 with me years ago?
No, I went with my dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, I went with Aiden,
No, I
friend of
didn't
the
go-
show.
yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out to Aiden. There you go. Enjoy your sandwiches during your lunch break.
Yes.
No, I didn't see it with you, but yeah, it's I always just find it interesting how certain directors get their money to make stuff.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned this on the Megalopolis episode where like there's meant to be maybe one of these directors, maybe it's Emmerich or Anderson instead, but I think I attribute it to Zack Snyder. Like there's directors that are meant to be really good at pitching, and that's how they keep getting money. Like just because they can go in and they can pitch really well to
Zack
execs.
Snyder's one is I'm going to make it grey.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine the Teletubbies, but grey
There's going to be a crash zoom. There's going to be an explosion.
and some shit
It's going to
CGI.
be real dark and gritty. But I can see it happening with him, and I think he's done less shit than Anderson.
Yeah, I just
for
think so.
sure.
I don't know. It's
Come
hard
on,
when you
mate.
see some-
300 is lit.
Yeah, 300 is good, and I do appreciate Watchmen. But other than that, I'm sorry.
You
My
check
last
it.
thing before we get to Mickey 17.
Yep.
Have you seen the new Daredevil series?
No.
Oh,
Where would I have found the time?
I don't know.
You know I've been busy.
I'm sorry.
You know I fell asleep yesterday as soon as I got home.
Yeah, to be fair, I normally do the same. Just
Yeah.
Ooh, what's on?
Yeah, it came out Wednesday. I've not seen it yet.
Yeah,
Have you watched it?
yeah.
Did you like the Netflix show?
I like the Netflix. I like the first two series.
You didn't like season 3?
No.
Oh, I really like season 3.
Yeah, no. I just kind of got a bit lost with it all. But you know me, I
Okay.
like films. I think that like the problem was I first started watching it
Hmm.
and there's something happens and I'm like, well, who's that character? Like, am I
Yeah.
going to recognize him? Like obviously I recognize, you know, the three leads and
Yeah.
then a certain villain, but no, I'm
There
just,
were other things that were a
Yeah.
bit out of there.
and it feels a bit disjointed.
Okay.
And like, I don't mean to be, but Charlie Cox's hairline is definitely going back a fair old bit rapidly. And there was a scene where he's in a courtroom, and I thought,
Yeah.
dear, like,
Well,
didn't used to look like that.
well, the issue is that they had to reshoot it again because they shot it differently to start with, and they made
Oh
they
yeah, I
made a
remember seeing
completely
that.
different bloody show and killed off Karen and Foggy off screen, and then realised that it wasn't working after shooting pretty much an entire season of it,
Wow.
and then had to come back and
If
redo
you're
it.
a crew member on that, you are literally counting your way to the bank.
Yeah, I mean, good and bad for the crew, I guess. Like,
Yeah, because you'd be exhausted, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? Imagine getting to the end of a production and then
well,
being
no,
told,
I think they may have even had to they may have even changed over crew because I know that they originally didn't bring back any of the same crew from the Netflix show, and then
Wow.
people were like annoyed about it, and I think they eventually brought back the same fight choreographer.
oh yeah, but I didn't like the fight.
in the original.
Yeah,
Do you not?
no,
What?
I always thought it was a bit by numbers.
No, they always like did it in like I always thought they did it in an amazingly like interesting way, like for TV and making it like
I think this is
realistic.
my problem, though. My problem is TV to me always looks like TV in terms of I always found that it looked like, oh right, so they've got the stuntman along, they've learnt the fight, now they're just doing it in front of it. It always looks...
I always thought they did it better than that. I always thought they staged it in a really good way because everyone always points at the corridor fights that they like the oneers that they have.
I think the Punisher is good for that.
Yeah.
John Bernthal when he does
Yeah.
that, but I think John Bernthal has more of a physicality than Charlie Cox.
Really?
Yeah, I think, not that I dislike Charlie
no.
Cox, but I think John Bernthal, you look at him and you go, he would actually...
He's got the size to him.
Yeah. He would kill a man.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he does have the size to him. For me, with Daredevil, I always really liked the choreography, and I thought they pulled it off well for TV. I always felt like it seemed actually planned out. I get what you mean, like it does have a bit of a TV vibe. I think the first season looks better than the others. They shoot it lots of the time. They shoot it on really, really long lenses, so there's like huge bokeh in the background.
Yeah.
But they just seem to abandon that in the second season.
That's how Kurosawa used to film, wasn't it?
I think,
long lens.
yeah, but they're like, it's massive. Like you have a bokeh in the background that's like as big as like the person's head.
Yeah.
Like, and there's something, it's very simple ape brain, but it just makes me go, oh yeah, nice lights. Yeah. Just really, really liked it.
You know you're a film nerd when you see a technique and you go, oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, you're just like, oh wow, that's a street lamp, but it's fucking huge and out of focus. Yeah. Yeah. Very simple. Shall we
Get on to Mickey 17.
get on? Yeah, we'll get on
So
to
this is Bong Joon-Ho, who
Yes.
is known from famously was director of Parasite.
Parasite.
Before that had done Okja,
Yeah.
which is kind of a film that it was kind of marketed as this film about veganism and stuff like that. But it is a very, very good film.
Yep.
I really liked it. Brilliant Jake Gyllenhaal performance and Paul Dano and Tilda Swinton.
Ooh, stacked cast.
Yeah, I really liked
Yeah.
it. It's the ending of that film broke me.
Okay.
Like, there's a part at the end, and I was like, you know, when you nearly have to turn something off because you're like, I'm physically cannot watch this.
Yeah.
Like, because it was sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay. Well, it's on my list.
yeah, it's on Netflix if you want to
It's
find
been
it.
on my list for years.
Yeah, it's one of those films that came out on Netflix, and I don't think I ever thought, oh yeah, I'll just give it a go. But it was back when they were doing like interesting stuff.
Yes.
Whereas
what you
now
mean.
it's a bit less. But he'd done Snowpiercer before that.
Snowpiercer is great.
Which the release of that film was fucked.
Yes.
Like it wasn't released properly, which was strange because it was the height of Chris Evans as Captain America. It came out 2013.
but I think it's been a very good sleeper hit. Snowpiercer. I feel like those who know.
Yeah, that's one of those films with a cast of like,
Yeah.
you've got John Hurt in there. You've
Jamie
got,
Bell.
Yeah, Jamie
Yeah.
Bell is in there. You've got, is it Ewan Bremner
Ooh, potentially. Yeah.
from Trainspotting?
Yeah.
We have to talk about Trainspotting 1 and 2
We do.
one day.
Tilda Swinton again.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton
Water comes
again.
in from the mouth, Tyler, not from the bum.
Yes. At the front of the train has to be in, circulation with the back of the train. She is.
They're out of bullets.
I do love that film.
I've only seen it once, and it's fucking iconic. It's stayed in my head so well.
I think it's one of those films that when I first saw it, I was like, what the actual fuck is going on in this film?
I think he is a brilliant director for watching things. He's great at world building.
Yeah.
I think he's
Yeah.
an amazing
Yeah.
world building director, but he's great at like stringing you along and not being able to see where it's going next.
Yeah.
As well.
And I would agree that happened with
Yeah.
Mickey 17.
Yes.
But we'll get onto it in a second. He also, one of his earlier films was Memories of Murder, which is brilliant. I've not seen Mother, which he did.
He did The Host as well, didn't he?
The Host is brilliant. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, The Host came out like 2006.
Yep.
The Host, I watched it at university before. It was when I first got to university, and they showed us the DVD library, and it is literally massive.
Yeah.
Had every kind of film you could ever think of. And The Host, because you couldn't really see it anywhere else, watched it, and I was like, what is this film?
Mm.
It is incredible.
Yeah. And that's Korean, The Host, not
Yeah,
not
Korean.
not Saoirse Ronan Twilight rip
no,
off The Host.
God, no,
yeah.
not that. So that's he's done a mix of kind of English language and Korean stuff. I would argue his better films are in Korean.
I would, from the 3 I've seen.
Yeah, Ocha's a
mixed language.
Mixed,
yeah. And Snowpiercer has some Korean in it.
Yeah,
as well.
I think you can see that there's, I can imagine it's more comfortable working within your own.
Well, he talks mostly in Korean as well. So even I watched an interview with him and Robert Pattinson, and there's still translation in it.
Yeah,
like he speaks in Korean quite a lot. Out of the 3 I've seen, Parasite's my favorite, and I would say the best. Like I said on the pod, that come out just before this, that I think it's one of the best films I've seen.
I think my favorite is still Memories of Murder.
Yeah.
There's a scene in that where I can't remember exactly what happens in it, but I always find in and I hope this doesn't sound Korean films always seem to have things that can just happen, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't expect that."
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I said it on the last one where I was like, the South Koreans are really good at
they're
making
brilliant
stuff.
at making films.
Yeah.
But it's like there's one point where they're going to interrogate someone. The police officer's going off to interrogate this murderer, and one of them just flying kicks this guy, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Where the fuck did that come from?"
There's like a really wicked dark sense of humor.
Yeah, they're all like in that as well, because it's based on a true crime that happened. And at moments there's just slapstick comedy, and you're like, where has this come from?
Yeah, you get it in Squid Game as well, where there's the tone shifts, and then something like Old Boy as well.
Old Boy is incredible as well.
Yeah, Old Boy is fantastic, but so horrifically dark that I'm like, I never need to see it again.
Oh yeah, it's not rewatchable.
No,
it's not a film that you're like, yeah, I'm going to put that on again. It's not like I recently, we'll review it one day on here, but I recently rewatched Con Air with my partner, and it's a film that I can put on anytime. I know exactly what I'm going to get.
In the box.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Yes. Shall we get into it?
Sorry.
Now, you just before though, you listed his filmography. He didn't direct any of the other Mickey films. Yeah, I've done him again. I'm going to do the introduction. So I genuinely have to do this by myself because Jack has walked off. I'd love some water, please. That would be lovely. Thank you. So the plot of this film is that Robert Pattinson is playing a character called Mickey, who has signed up to be an expendable to go on a trip to an off-world colony. Being an expendable, that basically means that his body is 3D scanned and his memories are uploaded weekly so that he can be killed off easily and then reprinted as a disposable worker for a company. It's all very satirical, spacey, in your vein of maybe a 80s, 90s Paul Verhoeven film, like your Total Recalls or your Starship Troopers or your Robot Cops or something like that. It is a dark comedy, sci-fi film. It is a lot of fun, and you follow RPatz's Mickey 17 as he goes off-world, and oh no, they accidentally print a Mickey 18 while he's still alive. And I don't think we should say any more of the plot than that, because I think so much of the joy is seeing the weird intricacies and all the different things and stuff in it. Jack's looking at me seething.
I couldn't get out the cellar.
No, he couldn't.
Padlock combination changed.
Yeah, I know. Whoever's in charge of that pesky cellar. But you managed to get to the tap all right, which is fine.
Yeah. Well, it's not really the tap; it's a rainwater collection. I just poured it in, and
we call it the tap, so we still have comforts of home.
Yes, it's the jug we put out the little air
Exactly.
gap we've got at the top.
Yeah.
200 mils in it today. No, I think that.
Yeah. What did you think of this? Did you enjoy it? Did you any particular performances you liked?
Robert Pattinson is an actor who I remember when he did Cosmopolis. I haven't seen it, but I thought that's interesting.
Yeah.
He was just known as Twilight, and everyone hated him. Unless
you're like Cronenberg cast this guy. Yeah.
And I think he did it the right way in terms of he kind of showed his worth, and now he's kind of when he did like Tenet and a few other Batman and stuff like that, I think you went, oh, okay, actually, he's a
he
real
built
actor.
up to it.
Yeah,
he did it slow.
He is incredible.
He's fantastic in
He
this.
is brilliant in this film. I've not seen him in anything in a while where he's half like anywhere far off brilliant. If you ever want to see a good film, one of his early good performances is in The Rover. And he's brilliant in that. No, I think Robert Pattinson in many ways carries this film. I think
absolutely.
I think other than Bong Joon-Ho's direction, I think he is absolutely like
he's so charming as such like a hapless, witless character. Yeah, and he's got narration going on.
And I think when the narration started, I thought, oh dear. Oh, is that what we're going with? Like, is that really how he's going to do the whole narration? But then
it turns out to be the best. The best bit of the film is just like his montage and him explaining. He's like, I should have read the whole contract.
Hopefully they just swallow me whole.
Yeah, he sounds like the Death Sticks guy.
He does actually.
Attack of the Clones.
I think my main thing with the film is it's definitely something original. It's definitely a more unique film.
Just for those who before they come at us in the comments, it's based on the novel Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
So, obviously, it's his original idea.
Yeah,
but an adaptation of that.
I think it's definitely got some current commentary. It's definitely very interesting that there's definitely a character in this film that does some mannerisms of a certain president and has a skin.
Skin, teeth, and face.
Yeah, skin,
not the
teeth,
hair.
and face. No, not the hair.
Not the hair.
But definitely the spray tan.
And
kind of the poses and
the
vocabulary.
posturing. His teeth cracked me up.
Oh yeah,
and I actually have the name of the man who made the teeth. Chris Lyons is credited on IMDb as special effects teeth. Brilliant
they
work.
Are brilliant in this film.
I genuinely, you could see like the seat was squeaking with me laughing.
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah.
I think the main thing with the film is it kind of clicks as it goes. So it starts and you're...
Yeah, definitely at the start. Yeah.
It's got, I think the first 2/3 literally fly by.
I was going to get the name of the editor as well, because I think the editing's great.
Yeah.
Because there are some amazing comedy cuts, like, because obviously he's an expendable, he's dying, you see like the deaths.
Yeah.
They send him out onto a planet, and then there's like an amazing comedy cut from him. I don't want to ruin what the joke is, but there's just a great comedy cut in that moment. You know what I mean?
It was even like there's a scene later on where it's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler.
Yeah,
there's two of them. Oh, you said it anyway when I was.
The trailer's shown that there are two of them.
So there's one
I think
point
that's
where
basically all you can say without getting too deep.
There's one point where one of them is going off to do something, and the other Mickey is coming to tell someone like he can't do that. We got to stop him. But he doesn't just come down the stairs. You just hear this, and he just literally falls down these stairs, and I was just like. Like, what?
He just flies down, and it's so funny.
Yeah. I just wonder if that was like it couldn't have been an accident. But
No.
I love the fact that the Bong Joon-Ho's gone, do you know what would be good?
Yeah.
If we just get you to absolutely twat it down the stairs.
And it fits the characters as well. And Pattinson's so good at showing the distinctions between the two
Yeah.
different Mickeys. Like there's never a point when you're like, oh, he's like messed up which one he's portraying. Like
The only thing that annoyed me with that, though, is he's
Yeah.
meant to be genetically identical, isn't he? He's a photocopy.
yes, but apparently they have said that sometimes his mood comes out.
No, it's
different.
not that. The tooth is different on one of them. He had a slightly different tooth on one of them.
Oh no, but maybe he had it knocked out when he had the fall that
No,
nearly
the
killed
whole
him.
time.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the newer one has a tooth that's slightly different at the front.
Oh,
Yeah, I noticed that. But
maybe that's like a weird little thing to show that it is imperfect and he came
Yeah,
out crooked. Okay,
I did
that's
think
not
that.
going to be like
No, but it was one
unintentional.
thing that frustrated me slightly. I didn't know if it was them trying to subtly show a difference so the audience knew.
potentially they changed
Or-
their hair up slightly.
Yeah. But also I liked that when later on in the film, when I would say it'd be harder to see who's who,
Yeah.
they managed to put in a very
Crafty way to
crafty
show it.
way to
Yeah.
show who the difference is. And I thought, that's smart.
Yeah.
I like that.
So much of it is like effortless smart directing. The camera moves, they're occurring. And
Yeah,
there's like
yeah.
there's like at one point where the camera, there weren't any cuts, the camera was just really slowly like tracking in. And it was, I think in the last episode I was saying like that sometimes I feel like I'm watching things a bit too clinically now.
Yeah.
And I don't get swept away as much. There are times, like especially in the first half, there were times where I was just like swept up, and then it literally took me a moment to go like, oh yeah, he's doing this. Like,
I think I was
start-
fully swept up in most of the film.
yeah,
I think Mark
Ruffalo is
and
Tony Collette.
Tony Collette in the first 2/3 of the film are brilliant.
Yeah,
They pop up and you see them kind of in the background, and they're there for
Yeah.
little scenes. And I thought, wow, this is
so he plays Marshall and she plays Elfie.
Yeah.
I think.
it's basically he's a politician that's lost elections twice. but
Yeah,
he's done some shady shit, and he's now going to go and start this colony off.
in space on a
Yeah.
planet called Niflheim, which is named after Norse mythology.
But it's just covered in snow the whole time.
Yes, I'm trying to think of what Niflheim,
I
what
don't
realm
know.
it is. It's one of the realms like Asgard, Midgard.
Yeah.
It might be the Dark Elf home,
Oh.
Niflheim,
Oh,
potentially. I'm not too sure. So there's probably some.
Dark Elf. Oh, what, like in Thor: Dark World?
Yes,
So it's Christopher Eccleston.
genuinely.
Do you know what I watched last
That might
night?
be-
Gone in 60 Seconds. Actually,
You've been on the Cage fix.
yeah, I have actually.
You've been having a
Yeah,
rage in the
yeah.
Cage.
Great film.
Jin Mo Yang was the editor for this, who has also edited Parasite, Train to Busan, and Snowpiercer.
I still haven't seen Train to Busan.
Neither have I.
Who's
should watch that together.
Who's the actress in this that played his love interest?
Naomi Aki.
What else was she in?
Oh, good question. She's good. She's
yeah,
very
she
good.
was very good in this.
And she has also been in. She was in Blink twice.
Not seen
She
that.
was. Oh, she was Lando's daughter in Star Wars Episode 9. Sorry, Naomi Aki.
Oh, she was, wasn't she?
Sorry that you had to do that.
Oh God, yeah. That was a shit role for her as well because it was just awful.
Yeah, she was in. Oh, she was in Master of None, season 3, I believe.
I never saw
for a
Master of
few
None.
episodes. She's great in that.
So was it only Star Wars that I recognise her from?
Probably from what I've seen.
She's got a very recognisable face, hasn't she? In terms of,
Yeah,
I think she does stand out. She's meant to stand out in the film.
she was in.
She does.
Did you watch Small Axe or The End of the Fucking World?
End of the Fucking World. I've seen that. Yeah.
Okay, she's in
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be it as well. Then that's a brilliant show.
Wow,
End
you
of the
watched a
Fucking World.
TV show.
Yeah, I know. Makes
Yeah.
a change. I watched a little bit Daredevil as well.
Yeah, slag it off. Yeah.
This is why I don't watch fucking telly.
But she's great, and I want to give a shout out to the casting director on this one, who was Francine Mazier, because so many wonderful, like, weird British faces in it, including...
Did they film in England?
They must have done.
They must have done, because they've been paying a lot for flights.
Yeah, Patsy Ferran, who played the weird scientist.
Yeah, she was
the
good.
geeky scientist. She was great. And then Tim Key, who I thought was just like a little cameo at the start. He was like the guy who's like, I'm a massive fan of Marshall, the politician.
Oh, yeah.
And then he kept showing up, and he was like the announcer on the ship, and he keeps showing up in a pigeon costume.
I never understood the whole pigeon
it's not
thing.
Explained.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is the whole pigeon thing about?
Isn't there like a thing, like a political thing, like calling someone a stool pigeon or something?
Oh, maybe. But he was definitely meant to be a Trump supporter.
Yeah, he's like a...
Like, he was wearing a red hat, red jumper,
yeah, so people,
red t-shirt.
People do wear red hats in the background, like, not to get political. I think key things on this is the costuming by Catherine George.
Yeah.
She does a great job. And then there's the thing that's like a combination of all the departments, so production design is Fiona Crombie, and set decoration is Alice Felton. So also doing some great work. They have like a weird semi-fascist-esque symbol.
Yeah.
That you see, and this is a shout.
Sorry, carry on.
It's like a little pin. It's just it's on its axes, the same as the swastika.
Yeah.
But it just has a bit more intricate detail.
Yeah.
But when Naomi Ackie undoes her bra at one point,
it's on the back.
It's in the same shape. It's in the fascist symbol, but it also just pops undone instantly. And I was just like, that's a shout out for Catherine George, for that little bit.
If the future has one thing, it has that.
It has that, but also like the fact that it brought in the fascist symbol as well. I was like, that's just brilliant.
That's the good thing with the film, is it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Its acting is brilliant. It's original. We don't really want to get into spoilers yet, because it would ruin it for you, I think.
And I think it's a film that people should go see and make up their minds on.
Yeah. But I want to get into spoilers, really. But
already?
Because I feel like you have to for this film, because I think although it is very original and stuff like that, I think the plot is quite simple.
It's simple, but it felt like it got messy. And I agree with you that it's when Mark Ruffalo and not Tilda Swinton, Toni Collette's character, when they get
I wish it had been Tilda Swinton, though.
I think Toni Collette's good in it.
Yeah,
I think she's got more of like the...
Oh, she's got that American, like, y'all down here, we're going to have a summer party. We're going to try myself.
I think she has a great... Oh, and Stephen Yeun's in the film as well.
Yes, but who I think was quite underused. But
yeah, he could have been used more, because he's a great actor. When they graduate from being like secondary background characters, where it's like where you see their influence, but you don't see them interacting with your main characters. That's where it like gets a bit weaker. And I have in my notes here that when they're like the people on the TV screens in RoboCop, or if they're like the idea of the old man who you only see every now and again, and you see how his influence is on the people who are lower than him, like Dick, whoever in that film, and how that like trickles down in the boardroom stuff. I feel like they were better when it's that.
I think it's like Snowpiercer. You only see Ed Harris's character at the very end.
Yeah.
And like it has that impact.
Yeah, if there was like an intermediary who was like Tilda Swinton, maybe it would feel a bit repetitive to Snowpiercer then.
Yeah.
But if there was like a shit eater, there is a sort of guy who's like that with the lip piercing.
That character I did not understand.
No, he looked
like someone from Terrifier. He looked like that kind of actor.
He looks like he pours drinks in a metal bar or something.
Yeah.
He looked like a weird cross between Moby and Chester Bennington.
it was weird. It wasn't. I did not understand that casting in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form. I don't know what it was meant to represent. I don't know who.
Well, he was like a
is.
lusty, like media savvy type.
Yeah, but he didn't look like a
Yeah.
lusty media savvy type. He looked like someone who would get killed in the first scene of Terrifier 4. Like, that was all I could think when I was watching
Yeah.
it, was like, this guy's in some trashy, low budget, like horror film.
It was strange. It was strange.
Because, like, at first he was like a background character, and then all of a sudden, towards the end of the film, he's getting like full lines and like scenes, and
yeah, he graduated from being like a Tim Key-esque or Patsy Ferrin to being like quite front and center.
yeah, like
But-
really
and-
strange.
Yeah, really strange. Whereas like even the interaction between like the lady bringing in a cargo haul at some point and the guy who operates the bay doors,
Yeah,
he was funny.
yeah, like, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
Like,
like weird, just a weird little guy with a high pitch. You can't do that. I'm in charge here. You can't
Yeah.
bring this in here.
I told you, if you break it, it's on you. Oh my God, I told you, that's why.
You act as if you own the place, but this is my bay.
That
like-
was turned into Bart Simpson.
It felt like Bart Simpson. I thought it was getting a bit like ad rock from the Beastie Boys.
I didn't know that.
I'm just going to say before we go into spoilers, Jung Jae-il did the score for it as well, and I think the score's pretty nice.
Yeah, score's nice.
Yeah, has some
Yeah.
like lovely little piano moments.
Yeah.
Plays in, makes it a bit jaunty. I'm guessing you recommend it.
I recommend it. Definitely recommend it.
I think people will go watch it, think of it what they will. I think it may split some audiences depending on certain stuff.
I would like to think this film's actually going to make some money.
I think it will. I think
Yeah.
RPatz and how weird it is going to sell it. And I also think,
Even my dad,
Parasite
who
would sell
I
it.
don't think was, he was like, oh, I want to go and see that.
yeah, and my parents were like, oh, this, because I nearly suggested going to see Anora tonight, but then we would have been in the same screening as them, and I couldn't have faced that. No, it would have been fine. But no,
I can't watch sex on screen in the same room as my
I didn't even
parents.
think about that. No, I was just making a joke about hating my parents, but it's fine. No, they're all right. No, my mum was like, "Oh yeah, Mickey." I was like, "We're going to see Mickey 17 instead," and she was like, "Oh yeah, that like looks right up your alley."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, it does."
I think it's just, to me, especially how it opens, it's an easy watch. Like, and I know that
Yeah.
sounds stupid. It's an easy watch, but it is a very, very. It's kind of, I would describe it as like high class popcorn.
Yeah, I think that's a good description for it, but I don't know how much I'll think about it in the long run. Because as I said, I've only seen Snowpiercer the once, but I can still like remember so much of it.
I think Snowpiercer's got a clear message. I think Parasite has a clear message. I think Okja has a clear message. I kind of get the message of this film.
Do you think it needs more time?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think
I
that-
get.
yeah,
there
the
is
message of the film
there is
is-
quite a clear one, but
Yeah.
then
but I think it almost tries to do too much.
yeah, we were saying before we started this that the ending is quite hopeful. We won't say what it is, but that all of his films' endings are
Quite hopeful.
quite hopeful, despite like the bleakness of some of the actions that go on during it.
And I hope it
Um,
makes a lot of money, because I
Mhm.
think Bong Joon-Ho is a name that will bring people to the cinema.
Yep.
I also think Robert Pattinson will. I also think it looks interesting and different. But
Yeah.
I would say it's high class popcorn. I would
Yep.
say it's rather than drinking your bottle of Coke from the bottle or the can, you're
Yep.
pouring it into a lovely chilled glass and
It's a film.
having it with ice and a slice of
It's
lemon.
a film that you would watch the Everyman or the Curs on.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
With your best gal.
yes.
Yes. It's
Um,
not a film. It's not a film for the view or the cineworld on a sticky floor.
No, I think it's
For a revamped cinema.
Yes, it's lovely.
But not for one that's still.
I think it's not disposable trash,
Mm,
but I don't think it's full art house. I think it's got a perfect mix of both.
yeah.
I think it's got a perfect mix of kind of entertainment, but also entertainment that makes you think.
Yes, I would say that as well. I think that's good.
But I think that's what Bong Joon-Ho does really well. I think he makes really good
Definitely.
films that entertain but also make you have a little think. And I think that's where cinema has kind of fallen down in the last 10, 15 years.
Well, yeah, definitely. Well,
Other than Christopher Nolan, it's
don't-
like, here you go. This is what you're meant to think and feel.
I think that's a good point. I was just going to say that you don't get too many action films that also come with a message. Not that this is so much an action film, but like a mid to higher budget film in a cinema that then also has a message that and a star. Like you don't. I've said RoboCop and things like at the beginning, but like. It's gone more to TV. Like the boys is a closer thing to this.
I would say
than anything
that
else.
in some ways, kind of aesthetically, it reminded me a tiny bit of Ad Astra, but it's much, much, much more entertaining. It's much more gripping. It's much more enticing. This is kind of I've got some sweeties, come and get them. Whereas Ad Astra is just like
I'm sad my dad's in space. Yeah.
I'm Brad Pitt. I'm Badwin Nowska.
Brad Pitt.
I don't know why every person from America for us is from Texas, but I would give it a strong. I'll explain it in spoilers. I will give it a strong 3 stars.
I'm gonna go for a 4, but it's not a hot 4. I don't know if to say it's a cold 4. I think there's a lot to love in it.
Yeah,
I would say go watch it, make up your mind. It
I
does.
feel bad
It does
giving
really.
it 3 now.
You don't have to feel bad giving it a 3. It really does dip slightly towards the end. The best stuff in it is just seeing the horrible, like horrifically dark but funny, very funny exploitation of Mickey, and Robert Pattinson's performance is great.
Yeah.
Like, this is just another one of his collection of weird freaks that he's cultivating in his filmography. And, power to him. Can't wait for the Batman Part 2. Can't wait for
When is that coming out?
Hasn't even started filming.
He looks like he's still in shape.
Yeah, he is in shape. Yeah.
I think the one thing that I did enjoy about the film before we move on to spoilers is how kind of aimless kind of the whole like expedition feels, and I didn't realize that until like further into the film. Of they've gone and spent all this money, but
they barely had a plan.
Yeah, they barely had a plan. They're just like wandering around, kind of seeing if there's anything there.
Yeah,
it almost reminds me of Prometheus in the sense they get to this planet and go, right, what do we do here again?
Yeah.
Or Interstellar, like, let's go to a planet. Oh shit, well this one's fucked.
Yeah.
Let's go to another one.
Oh, we're gonna drown.
Yeah.
Oh, our mate's aged. Oh no.
Whoops. Why are you grey?
Get
your head and shoulders next time we go round.
Yes. Shall we go into spoilers?
Yeah, let's go spoilers.
Okay, big time spoilers.
The dinner scene is where it changed for me. So
yes.
about
that's exactly what I thought as well.
Yeah, like 2/3 of the way through the film, or not, just under.
I think that's maybe about halfway the dinner.
Yeah, so up until the point of the dinner, we find out that Robert Pattinson's character has basically he owned a loan shark a load of money because is it Stephen Yen?
Yeah.
Stephen Yen's character persuades him to start a
to invest in macarons instead of burgers.
Yeah, he was told that macarons would sell better than burgers. So they are, and this is where they kind of that humor comes in.
Yeah,
they're running around with these like macaron covered T-shirts,
being hunted down by loan sharks who have some great ways of catching them.
Yeah. That was quite cool.
Little taser balls,
And they go to, obviously in the future everything's electric, so they have these chainsaws that have a noise that go with it as well.
I was so dumb I couldn't figure out why it was that. Yeah, of course.
But it's like a double chainsaw, isn't it?
It's a double chainsaw and then it has a speaker in it. Yeah, it has an amplifier in it. I was like, why are they doing that? Because the chainsaw makes noise anyway. It's battery powered, not gasoline. God, what a dumbass.
And so there's this opportunity that you can get on this flight or go on this mission to this this not
to
country,
get on
sorry, this planet they're going to.
Yeah, the failed senator's mission to go elsewhere.
And this failed senator is meant to be. He is a.
He's Trump.
Yeah, he's Trump, and
he's also. I was going to say he's a business mogul, but I don't know
he's-
if you knew this, but Trump was a businessman.
Was he?
He was, yeah.
I think he's that. He's also a little bit of Elon Musk in there.
Yeah,
as well.
he is. Yeah.
But at one point, Mark Ruffalo does the little fists in the air, arms at 90 degrees, and a little wriggle.
Yeah. He keeps doing like a Trump chin up kind of thing, and like sticking out his chin and his teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
But he's going on this mission, and Robert Pattinson and Stephen Yeun's characters think, right, we're going to just get off the planet because otherwise we're going to be hunted down by these loan sharks, and they're going to kill us. So Stephen Yeun's character he seems like he can talk his way into any situation. Gets a role as a pilot of some degree,
and it's a 4-year journey,
4.5 year
on the spaceship.
Yeah. And Robert Pattinson's character realizes he can't get on this mission because roughly 1 million people have signed up.
Well, he also doesn't read the pages of paperwork.
Yeah, he doesn't read the pages of paperwork. So he signs up to be a expendable, which is technology they've made where they can basically 3D print you again.
And the material they use to 3D print you is rubbish. It's garbage. They literally say it's chicken bones, it's muck, it's food waste, it's plastic and things.
And it's all like a lava pit, isn't it? Almost that they have within the
what he gets melted down into.
Yeah.
But you come up from a trash compactor, like literally saying. It's like the exploitation of Amazon. So he's sort of a Jeff Bezos in a way. It's like you are disposable trash to us as a person. That's what your merit is as a worker.
In a way, it's almost like he's almost seen as a slave, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And there are even times in the film where they're like, oh, you've underperformed, so now you've got to work 14 hours with half your rations.
Yeah.
So it is like the poor Amazon delivery drivers who have to like do that stuff or slave labor.
Gig
economy.
Yeah, gig
similar.
economy. Yeah. I remember when I bought the DVD for "Sorry to Bother You" by Ken Loach, and it was talking about like the gig economy, and I was like,
by Ken Loach.
Yeah.
Sorry to bother you.
Not sorry to bother you. Sorry we missed you.
I was going to say Sorry to Bother You is by Boots Riley.
Sorry to Bother You is brilliant.
Sorry to Bother You is brilliant.
I love
this
Sorry
is
to Bother You.
Similar, good pairing.
Yeah,
Sorry to Bother
I think
You,
Sorry to Bother You and this is a good. That would be a good double feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always think of the Rocky Horror Picture Show when I say double feature.
Yeah.
But I saw that and I thought gig economy. Oh, that'd be cool. It'd be like a roadie or something. If for a band, and then watched it and went like, this is not a band.
No,
for a band.
it's really not.
Yeah.
That's sadness. It's like, is Ken Loach Daniel Blake as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's a tough film to watch.
Yeah.
And also, Sweet 16 is a good one of his. Yeah.
He also. I've definitely seen another one when I was at uni.
The one that shakes the barley.
There's one where like a girl eats a bunch of chocolate bars in her room and has a meltdown.
Be fair,
it's mostly stuff like that. Yeah,
it's he's kitchen sink drama.
Yeah. Loves Timothy Spall.
Yeah, no, you're thinking of Mike Lee.
Oh fuck yeah, no, I am.
Yeah, Mike Lee. That's you're thinking of
Secrets and Lies.
Secrets and Lies.
I'm thinking of
that's
Secrets and
Secrets
Lies.
And Lies. And also there's another one with James Corden called can't remember.
I don't know. Loves Jim Broadbent as well, Mike Lee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like films like Another Year, and he did Mr. Turner.
Yes.
And then he recently did Hard Truths. He did Peter Lou.
Hard Truths.
He did a very good film. One of his first films was called Meantime, which has got very early Gary Oldman, very early Tim Roth, very very early. Who's Dr. Octavia?
Alfred Molina.
Yeah, very early. Yeah.
And what's that one again? Tiptoes.
No, I mean, fuck's sake. In a role of a lifetime, Gary Oldman.
Oldman.
Mate, that film shouldn't be allowed. It's...
Go watch the trailer for Tiptoes if you've not seen it.
If you want to be horrified, go and watch the trailer for that.
No, if you want an absolute delight.
Oh, God.
Back to Mickey 17.
Yeah, I just think that I think...
The dinner scene really does... It's when they're trying to explain their plan, but he's just shoveling, like, meat
into his
next
mouth.
to them. Yeah, like...
So the whole kind of thing is... Robert Pattinson's character is being used for testing, isn't he? For a lot of the time, like radiation, gases. When they get to the planet, he has to be tested.
It's
for
like
this
these people that go and do flu camps and stuff, and there may even be people who've listening. And it's like it's one of the things like when I've been like really broke and not been able to not had like a certain job, or just like been like unemployed. And it's like one of those things that I've thought about, but I was like, I don't know if I want to do that to myself. But it's like a thing I've considered, and it's.
I think everyone has.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll pay you $5,000. I'm like, really, $5,000 for like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
But
sign a waiver though, like
you may die. Yeah, $5,000. When you think about it, it's mental that you would risk your life for $5,000.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Yeah, like that's what's put me off.
You have to do it. Sometimes. But I just think that all that stuff of Robert Pattinson on the journey to the planet is brilliant.
Yeah,
but I
great.
think almost when the characters kind of, and they've also got a really interesting, it's almost like a mini...
love triangle?
No, not that. Mini culture in terms of they've got their own Saturday night TV show kind of thing. And he's like, they've got a rock and all this kind of
all
stuff.
the stuff of him in the background, like just on the show, I think is so
it's so
funny.
meta and good.
Yeah, and there's lots of, and you see it in the editing and it's in the sound mixing as well, but there'll be times when like people are talking in the background and they've clearly filmed like entire things that are happening.
Yeah.
But it's not what our focus is. Like, so we're still focusing on Mickey and his conversation. Like, and there's times when Stephen Yoon's like rattling on and people just aren't fucking listening to him. They're just like, this guy. I think that stuff's great. Like when they're landing the rocket and he's doing his speech into the microphone and Marshall, the Trump character, is speaking into the microphone, and his wife is led on his lap and is like sort of whispering in his ear, and he's just got his hand on her ass the entire time.
I'm just like, what?
I was like, that's really funny, like him just power tripping over it. You see, like he's got a really low chandelier in the background that's just like fucking swinging back and forth as the rocket is landing, and he's like, this is the day we claim this land for ourselves, our destiny, and all of that stuff is really great. But then as soon as like they talk to a character called Kai, and they're talking about their grander plan. Yeah,
and I just think
that's when it starts going elsewhere.
Because basically they find nothing on the planet, do they? Apart from there's this little animal that's almost like it's like an elephant / cow / kind of...
It's like an elephant and is it a troglodyte? The tiny, like the atomic sized beast. It's like, but then like it's got so many trunks that its mouth is like a spider,
and then it opens up and it's like this weird. Either way,
simultaneously disgusting and cute.
Yeah, the little ones are cute. Yeah, and basically they're the only animals they find. Robert Pattinson's character falls into a crevasse at one point.
They call them creepers.
Yeah, you think that it's going to kill him. It's not. It saves him, and they kind of pop him out back in the. Stephen Yen's character leaves him in the crevasse and says, "Oh, you'll get killed by them. It's fine. You'll be all right."
Oh no, a troglodyte is a person who lived in a cave or a hermit.
Oh, there you go. So I guess they do live in caves and holes and stuff.
Yeah, I think. Carry on.
But so that's how the whole story comes about, is in terms of the two of them. Stephen Yen's character leaves Robert Pattinson at the bottom of this. It is a crevasse, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, and the creepers actually save Robert Pattinson and push him back out the hole. And he goes back to the colony, and that's when he bumps into Mickey 18 as well.
Yep.
And Mark Ruffalo's character, the Trump character, wants to then get hold of one of these creatures to do tests on them and all these kind of things. And Tony Collette's character wants to make a sauce from their
But
tails.
the maker sauce, like the sauce.
I didn't understand
joke,
that.
Just a weird obsession with sauce being like a thing for flavor. I think it was just a strange joke that may have had some wider implications. But they only want to get the creature
Tail.
Oh no, he does want the creature beforehand, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he wants it to find out like what their weaknesses are and stuff, because it becomes like a thing. They're calling them aliens, even though they landed on the planet. It's like the whole thing of like demonizing another. Tardigrade is what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, no, they do look like them.
Yeah.
They look just like them.
Yeah,
I think. But the whole when he comes back and there's another Mickey. That all worked really well for me.
All of that's great.
And then we find out about, this is why you're not allowed to have duplicates because at the same time, because it happened in the past and this guy had an alibi and he murdered someone. And I was like, I'm loving this. This is brilliant. Like, I'm really on board with this.
It's literally when the conflict changes from being Mickey 17, 18 trying to live together.
Because one's like a psycho.
Yeah.
And just gets angry about everything.
Yeah, 18's a psycho.
Wants to kill someone. And the
17's lovely and sweet.
Yeah.
And just a simple dumb boy.
Yeah. And they Mickey 18 wants to kill Mark Ruffalo's character, goes to shoot him. At the same time, they find out that there's two of these little animals from the planet in a rock.
Yes, a rock that they slice in half because they're going to carve their names as the settlers of Niflheim on it.
Yeah, and then...
the Norse thing sort of ties into them going to Niflheim. The Nazis loved Norse mythology.
Yeah, they loved that shit, which is mental. And they're just weirdos anyway. But then there's a whole conflict because they keep hold of one of the little baby thing, little animals.
Yeah, and
they kill one.
They kill one, and the other one's kept captive, and they seem to have a sort of hive mind.
Yeah,
the
it's
animals,
kind of
and they're all
sentient.
yeah,
Almost reminded me of Starship Troopers a tiny bit.
Yeah, it is.
And basically, Mickey 17 and 18, because they tried to shoot Mark Ruffalo, are going to be executed because one, they tried to kill him, but also because they're what do they call them?
They're multiples.
Yeah, multiples.
Which is a crime,
Dirty multiples, you slimy scum.
Yeah.
And then, so we the conflict ends in them. There's all these animals, the creepers are circling around their base and they could destroy the base because, they could break through rocks and all this kind of stuff.
And they could eat through metal if they can eat through solid ice.
Yeah, and then it kind of comes to this end conflict and it just doesn't work. Like Mark Ruffalo almost takes center stage, that guy with the
like mouth piercing.
He kind of comes to the fore more, and you're just like, this isn't.
Yeah,
working
when
for me.
they just didn't work as like primary antagonists. They work as like things in the background, as like broad satirical characters.
Yeah.
There is one moment that I thought was quite good when Ruffalo shows that his character isn't completely done, because for quite a while I was like, oh yeah, it's his wife pulling the strings, or like it's the guy next to him, but no, it's there is some
bit at the very end for
intelligence
his character, and he's like,
when he does the bite, when he's dangling
he's
dangling the creeper over the thing, and he goes up to Naomi Aki and he says bite to her, and she goes what, and he goes dropping him 1, 2, 3, and she has to grab it with her mouth, and he's like, that will shut her up. And he shows that he can understand the language as well. I thought that that's quite good because it shows that they're sinister.
I think also his very last scene where he's like, you feel this as well. I think that kind of almost that almost had like a Jim Jones kind of feel to it, of like these people that manipulate you into feeling a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think that worked as well, because it's like there's a slip at one point, isn't it? He's like, oh, we're here with the church. I mean, business.
Yes.
Like that part, I was like, oh, God, you're really going for it.
Like he's obviously got his fingers in multiple pies, and he doesn't care.
No.
As long as people love and respect him and treat him as like his own little god emperor.
But I feel like it's the characters almost lose focus of, they're on this planet now, they're running out of food. Yeah. They don't really know what they're doing.
It's when the focus...
And the film does that.
It's when the focus isn't on Mickey.
Yeah.
That it's poor. Like, because even in the dinner scene,
Yeah.
as soon as it then swaps to the fact that Mickey's been poisoned,
Yeah.
and
It becomes
he then
interesting
starts dying,
again.
it becomes interesting again.
Yeah.
The part when he gets up after he has his painkiller and he's like, "No, I've been fine," but then he starts flailing
Yeah,
around,
yeah.
and the camera follows him,
And he like falls back.
he does an
over a table.
amazing fall. Yeah,
I wonder if that was a stuntman.
maybe the doubling work on this and CG
Oh yeah, the way
face replacement's great.
Yeah, the
Like,
way they've shot Robert Pattinson on
yeah,
twice is amazing, and I do think like the Mickey 18 and Mickey 17 kind of get their characters end in brilliant ways. Well, not
Yeah.
end, sorry, but their conclusion is
yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, it almost frustrated me how good the opening is.
yeah.
And how it
It
just kind of
I said it to you before we started recording. Like, it becomes like $2,000, and it never says this quite explicitly, but it ends up becoming like, you're going to show that you're not just a replicant Mickey 17, you're Mickey Barnes. Like, it doesn't say it in like that
Yeah.
American Hollywood way that it would spell it out, but that's what the feeling becomes. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it, but it just, it works so well when it focuses on him, but when it loses that conflict or drifts elsewhere.
my last one thing before we can
Yeah.
wrap it up. What the hell was that like dream sequence at the end?
I don't really know. I wasn't sure why it was there. I didn't hate it, but it was
I hated
a bit
it.
strange. Yeah,
There's a dream sequence with Tony Collette and Mark Ruffalo where
he's
he
getting
dreamed that
born out the machine.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mark Ruffalo has been born out the. My only thinking is that it's them saying, like, you cut off the head of the snake and it just grows back again.
Oh, I thought it was just him having bad dream, just showing that because he's like, I then think about what 18 will do, because 18 is strong and stands up for things, and they have the whole point of like,
yeah,
what happens after he poisoned you and you nearly died, and 17's like, I said thank you, and 18's like, you said thank you.
that was
You
one of my
fucking
favourite scenes
thanked him?
actually.
Like, that is really great. Like,
yeah,
because it is what like someone who's subservient and feels like so hamstrung and in that situation would do. And I know when I've had like a really bad boss that I've like sort of done it and like sniffed him and like, oh, okay,
what would you
like,
be, 17 or 18?
I think now I think I've been both.
Yeah,
I think I would want in my heart.
everyone wants to be 18.
wants to be 18, but I know
Yeah.
I've done 17 things.
Yeah, I'm
And
definitely 17.
I don't think you always are. I think it's worth knowing what we're worth and
Yeah,
fuck the man and their big weird teeth.
yeah. Yeah, I think overall, I feel like I'm. The review's very much like the film in the sense that I think we were concise at the start, and then we kind of
It's gone on.
waffled because it is a bit waffly. I think the kind of aliens in the film have such an otherworldly quality.
Yes,
It's almost like ooh when they are kind of
I really loved the design of them.
yeah. I think at
because
the end,
they made me feel gross, but then I also wanted to give them a big pet.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the little baby one. You know when they're like, "Oh, would you actually have killed us all?" And they like,
Yeah,
get
the
the little
fake
baby
out, yeah.
one, and it's like, "Nee." That was quite cute. I
It was
like,
cute.
oh.
It was
But
cute.
yeah, they do remind me quite a bit of the bug one from the big one from
Yeah.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, which again they go, it's afraid.
Yeah,
It's
afraid.
Like, brilliant film, Starship
Uh,
Troopers,
They're very much misunderstood.
when it came out. Yeah.
So the book it's based on is very pro-military, whereas the film itself is very anti.
Yes. Yes,
So
indeed.
that's why. But
Yeah.
yeah, Myth of the Paul Verhoeven. I still think we need to review Verhoeven, especially.
Oh, I'd love to do that
Showgirls.
reviews. Oh, should we do that with
I think so. So
Showgirls with the
we-
last Showgirl?
yeah, we've seen the last Showgirl, and we need to review it at some
Yes.
point.
And we thought about maybe doing it with Honora.
Maybe we can put it out on the Instagram and see what people vote for.
Yeah.
Which one we want to double bill it with.
Honora or Showgirls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should do that. But yeah, I think definitely go and see Mickey 17. You never know. I might come to it and I might change my viewpoint on it. I might say it's 4 stars, But realistically, I think the more and more we talk about films and the more things we record, I think that the stars can change. I think they're
Stars are flexible. It's more
Yeah.
about the words we say in the conversations you encourage. I
think it's definitely go and see it. I don't think 3 is a bad review. I think
No, we've said it before.
Like,
3's good, but
one of my favourite films is 3-star. Con Air is a 3-star film, and I adore that film.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong, it's definitely of its era. But if I'm happy, if I'm sad, if I'm tired, if I'm grumpy, if I'm stressed, I can put that on, and I know that I'm going to get to about an hour 40, and he's going to say, "Where you going?" He's going to say, "I'm going to show you God does exist." And Nicolas Cage beats the shit out of some guys, gets shot in the arm, and doesn't even
I
react
think this is the second time you've done that whole scene on the pod.
because I fucking love it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's
Or
like how I still love Jumper.
yeah, that's weird though.
No, Jumper's the thrill of wanting to be a jumper never leaves a young man who's seen it.
I've had a Nicolas Cage-a-thon because I did Con Air, then I did Face Off, then I did The Rock.
Is this all after you sent me the trailer for The Surfer that you've done this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I did The Rock, then I did National Treasure, then I did National Treasure 2 Book of Secrets.
Wow.
Then I did Gone in 60 Seconds, which I actually really, really, really
Did
enjoyed.
you watch these like one every night this week?
Pretty much.
My God, that's so much.
Yeah, I don't sleep that early. I don't sleep that well.
No.
And then I did a little bit of Bangkok Dangerous, and I thought this is getting into dirty territory here with Nicolas Cage.
All I'm going to ask is don't watch Port of Call, New Orleans without me.
Oh, I love it. It's a great.
I've
film.
never seen it. I've
Have
always
you
wanted to
not?
watch it. And it's by our beloved Werner Herzog.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
You know what? That would actually link very well to what we spoke about at the start, because his character is very much
Blowing lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
get your fucking spoon out. As,
Fair enough. Do we have any recommendations for this week, or we just wrap it up? I would say not so much for you, but more for the audience. The 80s or 90s satirical action films of Paul Verhoeven.
Which one would you say is his best of that era?
I would say my favourite is Total Recall, probably because of the Arnie edge, but the best is probably RoboCop.
I think RoboCop's definitely got more allegorical subtext to it, like him walking on water, him being a Jesus reference, him being, all these kind of things.
And the score's banging.
Yeah, the score is absolutely banging. I remember seeing clips of it as a kid. Do you remember back in the day they'd have like those shows like Best 80s Films?
Yeah.
That would come on at like 10 o'clock on Channel 5.
Yes.
And you'd see little clips of it, and you'd see like parts of RoboCop.
All the Z-list celebrities would do their commentary on
Yeah,
them.
I really like this film. I remember watching it as a kid.
Oh, RoboCop's banging. I saw it on TV well too young.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can get idiots like us on podcasts talking about it.
Yeah.
The level of entry for people being able to listen to more people is so low now. I would recommend. I think I'd recommend The Host.
Yeah, I need to see The Host.
Yeah, by Bong Joon-Ho.
I need to see The Host. Bong Joon-Ho.
Bong Joon-Ho.
Yeah.
Or The Rover, because that is a brilliant Robert Pattinson performance. I believe it was written by Joel Edgerton.
Was it directed by his brother Nash Edgerton?
Might have been.
He directed an incredible series called Mr. In Between, which you would love. All written by and starring the same man. God, what's the name of the man? Mr. In Between's great. It's about a low-level hitman / enforcer in the Sydney suburbs, and him co-parenting his daughter.
Because isn't there I do love my Australian cinema and TV.
Yeah.
Because there's also the is it Mystery Road? Because the character's got my name.
Oh, yes. He does. Because he's also, there's a prequel TV series, and then there's the second one as well. I've seen the second one of Mystery Road.
The first one's got Hugo Weaving in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the second one's called Goldstone, maybe.
Yeah.
Wait, I've seen the second one. I've watched that on a plane in Oz. Mr. In Between is about a character called Ray Shoesmith, played by and written all by Scott Ryan, and it's brilliant. It's like one of the best TV shows I've seen.
Yeah, I would highly recommend The Rover and The Host.
Yep.
But any of Bong Joon-Ho's films, really.
Yeah.
The one I need to watch is I think it's The Mother or Mother. Is the only one of his I haven't seen.
Yeah.
One last little shout out. I did double up some nights this week. I rewatched some of Back to the Future. I rewatched Back to the Future Part 2 and Part 3.
Okay.
Highly recommend. If you are having a rainy day, chuck them on. They are. It's like a cup of hot chocolate. They just make you feel cozy. Get a blanket out, pop them on.
It's comforting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just and you just know where you're at.
Very fair.
Any rants to have?
No, I don't think so.
Oh God.
No, I'm tired. It's late. What time is it? Yeah, it is late.
Right. Well, that's us wrapped up for this week.
Yeah, look.
I
need my bed.
Sharon.
I think we've gone for like 2 hours again.
Have we? Fuck.
We really can't. What did the poll say on Insta? Did it say short pods or long pods?
Long pods.
Okay, yeah, because this is all we deliver.
Yeah,
we can't do short.
No, we don't know how to do it. I'm sorry.
It's just because we're a couple of friends who like talking to each other.
It's weird though, because we have our podcast talk and then we have our non-podcast talk. I feel like when the headphones come off,
it becomes more about personal stuff.
Yeah. Can't tell you how big my shit was last night when I
was going to say, I was going to joke mostly about piles.
Yeah. Don't joke about piles. No,
piles are no laughing matter.
I never realised what piles was. And then I found out and Googled it of all things and I horrified myself. It's basically hemorrhoids coming out your ass, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, they are hemorrhoids, yeah.
You have to go to the hospital for that, or do you just...
No. You don't. You've probably had piles and not known. Or maybe...
What? Hang on. How regular is it to get piles?
It depends on people's diets. It depends on how much you strain. If you're get constipated, that can help pop a pile out. If you've ever...
You're just pushing back up in, don't you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you don't need to go to the hospital. You can just fucking push them in. As if you're trying to operate yourself like you're a Muppet. Yeah.
Oh my God. Ooh, that's better. I remember once someone said before I played a rugby match.
Yeah.
I got piles. This might be a bit difficult.
Oh, it shouldn't be that bad. Yeah. You can, if it gets really bad, you can go to the hospital.
What would your ass look like? A blueberry?
I don't know. I don't.
Or like when you've taken a raspberry out and it's you can see the inside of it. And
oh, yeah. No, I know what you mean for that. More like that, I guess.
What, it'd look like a raspberry?
I think so. Do you remember the song Wires by Athlete at all?
No.
You might know it's you've got wires going in. It was very prime, early 2000s.
No, I don't know that.
I do sometimes sing to myself an alternate. I want to make my own Weird Al parody. That's just
you've
stupid.
Got piles.
You've got piles and they sting.
Do they sting?
If you get an itchy or stingy bum, that's probably piles, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm getting an anatomy biology lesson at the moment. You come to the Celluloid Cellar not just for film, but biology. You get some music history. You get a bit of social commentary.
Yeah, I think for the past few episodes I've sung directly into the mic.
That's all right.
Yeah, I guess
you can start holding it next time and give us a soliloquy.
Yeah, I can't remember the lyrics to Piles changes every time.
I can't believe that I've potentially had piles and not known about it.
Maybe.
Does it get worse as you get older?
No comment. I don't know. This feels like welcome to the Piles podcast.
No, this is my agony aunt moment.
I think it can. Like, it can get to they can be so bad that you need to like sit on a cushion and stuff. It's like what people
God.
have had. Like,
I feel
look,
like it's like when you get like to a certain age and you can cough and get a hernia.
yeah.
That just
Yeah.
sounds fucking awful. That's just a bit of muscle popping through the fat, isn't it?
Yeah, people just. Yeah, I had a friend who had to get a hernia surgery. He pulled it. He did it. His hernia happened when he was lifting weights. He lifted too strong, and it just fucking the muscle slipped. Yeah, it's like your bone stabs you in the wrong place.
My God, yeah. And then you just get a little bit of muscle pops through.
Yeah, yeah.
I seen someone with a hernia once, and it was just like this little bump.
Speaking of Weird Al parodies, there's the Weird Al parody, "Living with a Hernia" instead of "Living in America."
Oh my God,
It's very good. Living with a hernia. I would send it to the mate who had a hernia. I was like, sorry, gotta send it to you.
we talking about piles. I just farted. I think that's time.
You just farted. I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's like the time my back popped and you tried to accuse me of having a fart.
You
even
definitely
though
had a fart that
I
time.
did not,
You
Jack.
did.
I would have owned it. I would have.
Silence. I have to tell you a story about something that happened this week when we're off air. It's
Okay.
quite funny.
Is it about you farting?
No, not me farting.
Not you farting.
No.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. Follow us on Instagram. How much of that will stay in, do you think?
What, all that?
Yeah.
I genuinely couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I think for the listeners that we've got, unless in like 10 years' time we get like a massive listenership
Mm.
and then they come back and they listen to our previous and they find our like 11th or 12th episode, whatever this is. Maybe this is our 13th episode.
People
We're
do
gonna
that.
get-
It will be the 13th, yeah.
This is the one where we reveal ourselves.
What?
No, I mean, it's in terms of like hernias and farting and stuff.
You've heard
No.
this here first. So find us on OnlyFans and the Celluloid Cellar
It's a
pod.
fucking audible medium.
Find us on... But we're revealing ourselves, you've said.
Yeah, hernias and, hemorrhoids.
We're going to
and
reveal our
piles.
hemorrhoids directly on OnlyFans. Follow us.
God.
Follow
Oh,
us
God.
at the
That's-
Celluloid Cellar podcast on Instagram.
That's going to be Matey Boy who won the Oscars' next dark story.
Follow us.
Someone who's like selling dodgy stuff on OnlyFans.
It happened. Do you remember Bobby Burns on YouTube? He worked for like CinemaSins for some time, and then he did like film reviews.
Oh, God.
He went weird.
Oh,
I
dear.
think he started doing pornography things.
Oh.
I
I mean, if you make money from it and you're happy and you're safe, then
don't know if he felt happy and safe. I feel bad. I remember like when I was younger, feeling a little bit like, like sadness and shame, being like, oh my God, Bobby Burns has this amazing like YouTube critic career and he's younger than me. Wow. And then as he carried on aging and sort of went off the rails and down a bad path, I was like, I'm okay. I'm all right.
it's weird
actually.
how some people have kind of come in and then gone out again, especially like on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, is it like, who was the guy that used to do stuff with Chris Stuckman? Is it the Flick Pick?
Yeah.
Like, he kind of went off it, isn't that? Weird, isn't it?
What
I guess
did
you get...
what is in like dodgy or
No, he just doesn't really make anything anymore. But I guess
no?
you get families and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like
Even Jeremy
So-
Janser's kind of.
I still watch him like now and
But
again.
if you look at his views, they're nowhere near as high as they used to be.
Oh, they really dipped.
I think so. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't. I think he's actually got better as a reviewer over
Mm.
time. He's actually. I think he can be quite good and concise, unlike us who fucking love a ramble.
We're here for a podcast. We're here to be a friend for you to listen to as we natter.
Exactly.
I actually think my favourite podcasts are sometimes when they go off topic and they have a little
Yeah.
tangent.
Well, I love the podcast with Gawley and Rust, and they've sometimes done 4-hour-long episodes about like films that are an hour and a half.
I think when we record one day and we've got enough time, I reckon we could do 4
Easily.
easily.
Because it is, at the end of the day, it is just us chatting. And
Yeah.
you say the conversations are different off mic, but I think it's just because we would have had these conversations otherwise beforehand.
Yeah.
They've now just transitioned into a into this space, and we still talked about it beforehand, but then
Yeah.
I have to like try and save some of it for the pod so we don't bore ourselves.
It is mental. Like, I listen to some podcasts sometimes, and they're like 4 hours long. You're like, wow, that's
a lot of chat.
yeah.
Anyway,
right, wrap it up.
Yep.
See you all later.
Follow us on Instagram, Celluloid Cellar Podcast. Follow us on Letterboxd at Celluloid Cellar.
Yes.
Drop us a email at the celluloidcellar@gmail.com. Hit us up on OnlyFans as well. Thank you to our patron saints, Werner Herzog, and who was the other one we said? Oh, Peter Hunt.
Wonderful.
It
was a delightful time.
And also to Kevin MacLeod for the theme as well. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. How was it the two Ronnies used to do it?
Didn't they do that? Goodbye from me. Or it's goodbye from him.
And goodbye from him.
Or I thought it was, and it's goodbye from him and goodbye from me, or something like that.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
It was all a bit quaint and lovely.
It
I
was.
just hope nothing ever bad comes out about them.
I hope not, no.
That would just make me sad.
Never knew what happened to the incredible Great Bad Raspberry Blower or whatever, which was their sketch that was a parody of Jack the Ripper, but he was a man that would blow raspberries instead.
Oh, yeah, no, I've seen that one. Yeah,
Victoria
yeah.
era in Britain.
Yeah.
And I always remember seeing that sketch, but never finding out who it was. And for years, I've always lived in mystery, but it's not a thing I've Googled.
I remember one, I can't remember if I actually saw it or whether I'm just imagining it, but one that was like Sweeney Todd, and it was quite brutal. Like,
okay.
I think who was the bigger one? The taller one, not Ronnie Barker. Ronnie Corbett.
No, Ronnie Corbett
Barker
was the smaller
Sorry,
one.
Ronnie Barker was playing Mrs. The lady, and he was like cutting stuff. And
Yeah,
had, like blood all over him, and I was like, oh gosh, this is a
that's
bit
quite
brutal.
very right.
We are finishing.
No, I've got a question for you, and it may be for the people as well.
Yes.
We should finish, but this is one that someone might answer. I have a memory from when I was a kid of watching something on TV, and it's a woman in a cafe, and then she's like looking out the window, and then she looks at the person across from her, and the woman across from her is then covered in blood. And then she like looks back out, but then like that goes, and it's like a sort of dream sequence thing. I've tried Googling this, but all I ever get is Carrie, because anytime you Google something like woman covered in blood, it's Carrie. What TV show is this? What film is this? Have I made it up? The cafe's like quite white. Was it the TV version of Carrie that came out years ago? Is that what I saw? But I saw it.
You wouldn't have seen that. What is it like? She's looking over the road.
No, so she's sat at a table. She like looks out a window, and then she looks at the person opposite her, and the person opposite her is covered in blood for a moment. The woman opposite is covered fully in blood, and then you cut away from it, and then it's just a dream sequence. The memory that I may have even made up the look away thing. The main thing that I remember is like a woman in more of a cafe, not actually Carrie, like covered in blood. And if anyone can help me find out what this is, or just confirm that my brain made this up when I was a kid.
It's weird how you remember certain stuff. Like I remember, now this sounds really savage and brutal in terms of like what it would have been on the telly. Do you remember My Family?
Yes.
So one of the actresses that played the daughter in that was in this TV series, okay? And at the time, I had a bad appendicitis and I was like waiting to go to hospital kind of thing. But the telly was on in the background and I was sat there writhing in pain. And I remember like just keeping like seeing clips of it. And I remember her character was meant to be like this depressed character. And I could have sworn that her character like chopped her legs off or something like that.
In My Family?
No, this is a different show that she'd done.
Yeah.
And I remember watching, and I don't know what happened, whether she got like crushed in an accident or something like that. But I remember like this scene where her legs were like gone.
Yeah.
And she was like wearing jeans, but her like legs had gone like just above the knee kind of thing. To this day, cannot find that show.
Do you think it was like Casualty or Holby or something?
No, it wasn't that. No, because it was one of those like ITV dramas.
Yeah.
and I cannot find out anything on IMDb about what the actress has done.
Yep.
Anything like that. Like, there's certain stuff that, I can just never find.
There was another show I watched which was like modern day, but it was the 2000s, so 2000s era, and it was like 3 young women that I think were witches, and there was like a dragon that was coming through like a tunnel, but then they stopped it or something.
Was that Merlin?
No, it was before Merlin. It was American.
Oh.
It was when I would have been like 5 or 6. Or
Was
something.
that Charmed?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Might have been, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
But it was like a specific episode with a dragon going through a
Weird.
tunnel, and I remember that. But yeah, that lives in my brain in the same space as the Woman in Blood that's not Carrie memory, or maybe it's the Carrie TV movie version. Anyway, properly goodbye now. Sleep well, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Look after your piles, get some anusol. Bye.
And don't forget push them back up in if they come out. Bye.
Absolutely.